with me one of the most amazing young men I've ever come across.
Thank you.
You know him, Raul Blaze. Welcome to Optima Gold Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, we've been trying to do this among
Yes.
other things,
Yes.
but schedules. I think you're more busy than I am.
Yes.
Right. So, but finally we get to do it.
Yes, and I'm glad I made it. Yes.
Yes, so welcome to Optima Gold Radio and the Writery Inc. that houses Optima Gold Radio, and of course, welcome to Connecticut.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so the first and foremost, you are here promoting
Yes.
an event today,
Yes.
and that is your
Blaze It Up Dance.
Blaze It Up
Dance
dance.
class, yes.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
All right, so Blaze It Up Dance class is a people everyone wants to be fit and in shape, but you don't want to do the actual work part of it.
You're talking about me.
And then so I used to be an athlete.
Mhm.
I did the long distance races in school, and I also liked doing dancing.
Mhm.
So what I did was that I decided, how am I going to combine both my love for dancing and my love for athleticism? And so I started the classes in South Florida. So I had one in Palm Beach County, and I have one in Broward County in South Florida.
Okay.
But because I have a large following, a relatively large following, people are like, when are you going to take it to so and so? So the first opportunity I had was to take it to Atlanta, then here. But anyway, in Florida, it's a 1 hour class.
Okay.
When I travel, it's a 2 hour class because I come from far. And the first hour is about telling people about the because I'm very Pan-African. I'm always trying to find a way to connect where we are from with where we are now. So I tell them about the influences behind the dance moves. Of course, I get them to warm up in them and just pushing off what my water. So you're gonna know, I'm gonna warm up, talk about the history, some basic movements, and then the last one off, you just broke out and just push yourself and just sweat and just bubble and whine off on a Lego. Yeah, man. Getaway. You know, like not really like Lego beasts, but controlled Lego beasts.
Yes. I know how to do that.
Yes. So you just have fun. So even though I am gonna be extra because I'm extra all the while in everything I do. Michelle named Raul Extra and not Raul Blaze. You can modify the dance movement in your own way. So it's a fun way to work out. It's like a party style.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I'm ready. So, as I said, welcome to Hartford. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the Hartford area, it's going to be this Friday evening.
Yes, tonight.
Today, 7 p.m.
7 to 9 p.m. at Studio 860. Studio 860 is in Bloomfield, Connecticut. So if you just Google Studio 860, you'll see where it is.
I think it's on Dudleytown Road.
It's on 111 West Dudleytown Road. It's 30 right now. The pre-sold was from 25 to 30, but today it's gonna be $35, and it's a nice combination of both history, dance class, and culture. And if you have kids, it's $20 for kids.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, please support. He came all the way from Florida.
Yes.
Not just to meet me, right?
Yes. But that was the first reason to come.
Yeah, man. We gotta get. I was just so excited because I did speak with you before.
Yes.
But didn't get a chance to really, get into it because I recognize that there's a lot that we have in common.
Yes.
And for one, we're very, very busy people.
Yes.
We have to make appointments to see ourselves.
Yes.
And so I am amazed at what you do.
Yes.
And so one of the things you're from Jamaica, for one.
Yes.
And you came from a small country place like I did.
Yes.
I was born in a place called Chigwell, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Yes.
Chigwell was a place that the water would raise every year.
Yes.
And that's part of how we left that region. But I just went back a few weeks ago, and it was just the amazing place of my childhood.
Yes.
The memories and so forth.
What parish?
This is in Hanover.
Okay.
This is in Hanover. I don't know how my parents came there, but anyway.
Yes.
We're talking about you. You are from a small country village in Jamaica.
Smithville and Clarendon.
How did that influence your what the journey that you took?
Being from so Smithville is as you're familiar with rural Jamaica. It is very country, and I think the trees were my best friend. The trees, and just a quick side story. In Smithville, to get into Smithville, you have to pass two main rivers, but one is bigger than the other because one is coming from the northern Clarendon side, which is the Frankfield side. The other side is Maypen. No.
Right.
Just as you're getting to Smithville, there's this river called Big River. And Big River, and I later on I learned that it meant the river overflow its banks. But when I say river come down.
Well, that's why I mean that country,
River come down, yes.
Full up the place.
Full up. So when river come down at Smithville, it didn't go into anybody's house because it wasn't close to those who were on the hills.
Right.
Or river come down, there's no way to cross it. And I hear about this thing, my mother talk about it, this thing called June flood. It was before I was born. There was actually a walkway bridge right at Big River. That it was washed away during that time. So Smithville, when river come down, there's no way to get into Smithville. Or sometimes you have somebody pulling you in. So where I'm from and how it influenced my journey was because I rain a fall and river come down and got bush. And these were normal to me, and I didn't know it wasn't a normal thing for every single Jamaican. So I always wondered, like, what was beyond the hills of Smithville. And I remember my cousin used to tell me that when we were young, about 5, because my mother is a nurse. She lives in West Palm Beach.
Right.
She worked at Thompson Town Clinic, I believe, which is 3 miles from Smithville. And she said, my cousin, I don't know if she remember this, I used to say usually my mother works over the hills and we can swing on banana leaves over there. You know, when you're 5-year-old, come up with stories.
I love that though, their imagination.
Imagination. So coming from there, that was my journey. Like, what is beyond Smithville? So that was my journey, wondering what was beyond there.
Wow,
yes.
Wow. And so you set out to explore.
Yes. Way later on in life. Because,
wow. So your first stop on your journey was to attend university?
I would say my first stop was to get into Maypen.
I love it. I'll tell you something. You know how when I was about 4 when we left country.
Yes.
And the water rose all the way up to our doorstep.
Oh, wow.
And you know how we couldn't leave. We couldn't leave. We had, we had to leave on what they call Batu.
Yes.
Which is the raft. You know what I'm saying? I knew we had a lot in common, right? So that's how we left.
Wow.
And if you don't know what a bateau is, it's actually French for raft.
Yes.
It is a French word. So it's not, we make it up.
Yes.
It is a word.
Yes.
And so that's how we left country and moved to Montego Bay.
Wow.
So now you're beyond Maypen.
Yes,
and once you leave, you will have explored Maypen. Now you're going on to
yes. And then I went to Glenmere High School. Yes, we went to UWI, and then UWI was an eye opener because now I'm believe country person there told and I realized that all the possibilities, all the faculties, and my major was Spanish, and I did French and Portuguese studies and international relations, but doing a Spanish major where everything was in Spanish and coming across people from all walks of life in Jamaica and overseas, especially the Caribbean countries because they come to Mona campus.
Right.
And all my professors were from Spanish-speaking countries or French-speaking countries.
Right.
And interacting with these individuals kind of opened my eyes to like what was going to become next, which was just crazy.
Because it opened the world for you. Right?
Yes.
It gave you a view.
Yes.
That there was something beyond.
Yes, it did.
Clarendon, Maypen, and Kingston, right? So,
yes.
So it kind of developed that excitement in you to learn.
Yes.
The thirst for knowledge and to see beyond that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So now your next step was...
My next step was Washington, D.C.
Oh my gosh, what did you do
Yes.
there?
In my last year at UWI, I applied for the Inter-American Development. It's, the summer internship programs at the UN, World Bank, the IDB. I applied for the IDB's summer internship program, not knowing that I would have any chance at all in this thousands of bright people across the world. And then I applied right from Clarendon, and then I applied. I was in the faculty of I was in the modern languages department, and I saw they said blah blah blah, and because the requirements being someone studying international relations, and the 4 languages of the bank, 4 official languages were Spanish, English, French, and at that time I spoke those 3 already. But luckily for me, I was signing up for my last. I need 1 more course to bring up my GPA, and Portuguese was introduced last year, so I picked up Portuguese.
So you speak Portuguese?
I not as much as I used to, but I do basic. But I do speak French and Spanish.
Wow,
I do tutor both.
So that is very inspiring, because it shows our younger people what is possible.
Yes.
We're pushing for Patois to be an official language, but in the meantime, learn other languages, because now it takes you to Washington, D.C.
Yes, it does. It does. Learning Patois is very important, especially because of our history. But you can learn. The thing is, our idea of being multilingual is so strange to Jamaicans. But being multilingual, it isn't a big thing if you start young, because our brain works is that we don't distinguish between languages. We are hearing words. So when you're hearing words, you're hearing words. So you're not saying, okay, this is English, this is Spanish. So when you're very, very young, let the kid play with it. Give them, talk Patois to them, put them on them iPhone with Mandarin, and that child will grow up multilingual. When I applied for the program, I did write Portuguese, even though I didn't speak it yet. Oh my God. But by the time the time would come, I would have been able to converse.
Yes, I love it.
And then they called. I remember being in Spanish club one Thursday evening, after and someone called, and I'm like, I didn't know what was going on, because I applied for it way back in January. And they called, and I said,
and you put it out of your mind.
Put it out of my mind, and they called me, and I said, blah blah blah, and this is so and so. I said, can I step outside? And they called me back. And they interviewed me in all the languages that I wrote on the paper. So she started off with English.
Oh my goodness.
Then they passed the phone on to the Spanish person, the French person, the Portuguese person. You're like, wow. And they said, and they saw I was from Jamaica, and they say, not only that we're interviewing you right now, we've been trying to reach you for 2 months now to get you to be a finalist. They wanted me to come, and then when I finally got it, a guy on my campus they picked 2 of us from the Caribbean that year. A guy from UWI, but he was Bayesian. He said, Raul, I saw in a list of interns for DC this summer. I'm like, what are you talking about? Not me. Me talking about. When I go back, I saw all the list of potentials, and I saw the emails that they've been sending.
Wow! And, my goodness! So they really wanted.
Yeah, really wanted me, and I made it to DC that summer.
So you placed yourself in a position.
Yes.
That you could be called.
Yes.
And that is very inspiring, because a lot of times we don't. People tell me like, "Oh, you're so talented," but you know what it is?
Yes.
I think we all have multiple talents, but we're either afraid or we dismiss it.
Yes.
You have to step out.
Yes.
You have to take a chance on yourself.
Yes.
Which is what you did. Because you didn't know Portuguese, but you said, you know what? I'm going to get there.
Yes.
And so you took a chance on yourself. And
yes.
so you got to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And from there.
And from D.C., I came back to Jamaica. So the journey go back and forth. But when I was in D.C., because I was leaving UWI, I didn't know where I was going, because my mother was living over here, my brothers were living here, and we never know where I go. So I applied for the post assistance in France, where you go to teach English. The funny story about that, because only French majors and minors were allowed to apply for it, because we learned French. I did French my first year at UWI, and then what I didn't know, I joined the Société Francophonie, the French Society of UWI, and even though I wasn't I wasn't a major, minor, or student because I did for 1 year just to build up. I joined the club to improve my French. So when I applied, when I went to I think it's Alliance Française in Jamaica, they said,
I love how you just switch between.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I'm gonna try that.
Yes, yes, Alliance Française.
Right.
When I went there, they said, well, Raul, you don't have a major or minor on your degree, but one of your professors says you can still speak enough French to apply. And they interviewed me in French. And they said nobody has ever applied for the program who's major or minor, who just took a French course. But I told I joined French club because I speak Spanish. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the French. But I couldn't get to do that because the process to go to France would have been happening when I was in DC. So by the time I got to Kingston, the batch just left. So I went back to Jamaica and I taught Spanish for the first time at Glenmuir. I went to Glenmuir.
Beautiful.
And then I taught Spanish. I gave back. And at Wilma's. And then just before my next big adventure, which was the adventure of adventures at Wilma's Boys School, where I was a Spanish teacher, I kind of revived an heritage club and mixed it with a JCDC club. So I wrote plays, songs, dubs, and brought Wilma's Boys to a lot of parish fathers, and they mash up everything.
Mash up everything,
yes,
of course.
Yes.
You're in charge, right?
Yes.
That's what a journey.
Yes.
What a journey.
Yes.
I mean, and like I said, you kind of kicked down doors, right?
Yes.
You didn't see a closed door that you couldn't kick down. You took a chance on yourself.
Yes,
and that's part of what life is. You gotta take a chance on you.
It's weird because of all the interviews I've done, I've never realized that. I didn't realize I was kicking down. I didn't realize. When I say that I applied for the internship, even though I didn't need the Portuguese, but I said if they said there are 4 official languages, I'm gonna speak all 4.
I love it.
So I took the course. So I realized that by applying for it without taking the Portuguese course. That was kicking down the door, and by applying for the French thing without being a French major. So this is the first interview I've done where I'm looking at it
beautiful.
Like that.
I mean, that's what I see when I look at your journey. That's what I see. And that's why for me it resonates with me. I said we have a lot in common because that's what I've done, and I never really looked at anything to say I can't do it. I'm willing to try it, so I step out.
Yes.
And when it works, and I'm like, wait. Whoa. Right? And you were like, oh, it worked.
Yes.
And so a lot of times people are afraid to kick down that door.
Yes.
Either they're afraid of what they might find or they might not measure up.
Yes.
But you know what? Even if you don't measure up, you're going to find a way to do it.
Yes.
Once you kick down that door and you see your possibilities, you just go for it. And that's what you've done. And that's one of the things I admire about your journey. So now off to Japan, yeah?
Yes. The nice part. Well accomplished and esteemed just want him to have his big break. And he will. Thank you. My people are here on TikTok. I have a community on TikTok. Yes.
I love it.
That's my support.
On Optima Gold Radio. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm going to share with you guys a link for the radio station that you guys are watching. Dimples, big up yourself, Dimples. And Dimples Jamrock DC. These are my. I have a group of girls who are my.
I love it.
I'm standing on their shoulders literally.
Beautiful.
And I also so Japan. I was at Wilma's, and then I remember when I got there, the first time I saw the JET program, because JET is the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, where people from English-speaking countries get to apply to the Japanese embassy to be placed in Japan to teach English as an assistant language teacher. I remember I had the form 1 year and I started applying for it. I'm like, I don't go to Japan because all the languages I spoke at that time were Romance languages in the family. They were all the same conjugation. I eat mango, you come all of mangoes, je mange, yes. No, this is not like when I go to Japan. So I didn't apply that year. But when I was cleaning my desk, because I was just, your love for the culture, you'd be a great ambassador. And I applied and then first step 1, and I said, okay, go under the police record thing. Police record thing.
Clean, so
and clean, so me gone. Me never teeth no cow nor no mango. Me teeth mango. Me not teeth goat, no me teeth mango. Never catch me. Me maybe the teeth for a fall one time. I want egg. What me get to I got Japan, so me the police never find that, you know. And so we come back clean now, and them say, well, you're going. I did my interview, and I remember when I wrote you have to write an essay.
Right.
That what makes you so and so. And I just use the word bridge. My thing was that I want to be a bridge connecting, you know, and they love the essay they love my essay so much until years later I helped. It's not just that I got you for Jet. Jet was so competitive. Jet was so I knew people who had been applying for Jet for years.
Wow.
Later on, while in Japan, I helped at least within my 5 years in Japan, I think I helped maybe at least 8 people with their essays and they got through, which is just phenomenal. Yeah. And so I applied. I really wanted to go to Tokyo because if I said I go to Japan, I don't got no country place. Tokyo or Osaka or Kobe, you may not get into the program at all.
Okay.
But I realized that's not it. They say you may not get, most likely, you're not going to get into those big cities.
Right. But you'll get into the program.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But it's not, either way, you're going to get into it if you're going to get into it. Applying for a big city doesn't mean that you're not going to, 99% of us are going to bush. But there were some people, like in my year, run and fall and catch and thief, goat and something.
But no man gonna do
that. Me soon tell about for them fruit they call kaki. Kaki, which is persimmon in Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had but from my year group you had a few city people, like 2 people went to Sendai, which is Miyagi. I'm like, okay. 1 girl went to Kobe. I'm like, I'm going to sing at Toyama. I got chosen for a place called Toyama. And I think the irony is, I think I might have chosen Toyama in my search for wanting to get through and not get through for picking to Tokyo. My 3 picks, I wanted to pick Tokyo, Osaka, and all the big cities. But I said, just pick 3 randoms, and I think I might have chosen Toyama. Got there, the coldest place on earth. When I got to Japan on the jet program, the orientation is in Shinjuku. So you're in Shinjuku, you feel nice, you know. The middle of Tokyo. Shinjuku is just Shinjuku is like Manhattan, Chinatown, but just bigger.
Oh wow!
And that was our orientation excitement. So that's where the journey started.
Okay.
In Shinjuku.
And so how long did you stay in Japan?
I stayed in Japan for 5 years. Okay. It was a 5-year. I stayed in Toyama for 2 years. Then I went down to Okayama for a couple months, and then I spent 2 and much years in Osaka. So I got my big city experience.
Wow. So in the meantime, you got a law degree there.
Yes. Wow. I did a law degree when I was there. It was because my thing was what was going to be my escape.
Yeah.
Well, another thing, when I got there, 2 things happened when I got to Japan. One, we had an earthquake the day we got there.
Oh God.
And no one had explained to us. We knew Japan because 2011 when we went there, you know what happened in 2011? 2011 was the year of the Fukushima nuclear disaster and the earth. That was the year we went there.
Right.
So they called us.
Welcome.
Yeah, they called us the brave ones. 2011 just because so many of us, it was the first year they had to have different interviews because people got through, decided not to come after that happened.
Right.
But we went anyway. And I went anyway, and then when we got there was an earthquake. The thing about Japan, the architecture in Shinjuku, the buildings are like
built for that.
So we're in the building, but we're feeling the buildings sway. We're like, what is that? Someone said, a girl said, that's an earthquake. Don't mind it. I said, don't mind it. You know, maybe 111th floor and that building I got some mustn't mind. And then the second thing that happened was that I opened my emails and I go, you've just got accepted for lawsuit. Not just a regular one, but a sponsored one in Barbados.
Whoa!
As I got to Japan, I'm like,
yes.
Man, if this had happened before, you know, that I was not that things happen and I accept it, but I said that happened when I was in Jamaica, that would have been my wrong.
Wow.
So I said, okay, what can I do? I can take the program I can take the program still, and at this time now, after when I leave, I try to take the test to get into normally after I'm done with the degree. So what I did was that I found a school that allowed me to do it distance and allowed me to take the exams at universities in Japan.
Right.
And then so what I did was go to school and teach English in there, and even with my contract and my tort and equity, which I couldn't stand. If somebody just leave the money for somebody, please. Just leave the money and say this. It's a one bag of bang around when you leave the money for one somebody and somebody say I didn't deserve the money. Anyway,
everybody wants to
fight over the money. So I did that while I was there for 3 years.
For 3 years. Wow, what a journey. I mean, your journey is not what we would call a traditional journey. And it sounds like you just went with.
Yes.
You went with it. You just went after, not sitting and waiting for something to happen to
you. Our necessarily planning.
You just see an opportunity and
say, just jump with it.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
And you don't even see what could stop you.
No.
You just say, no. I'm going to do that. And you just do it. And you don't even know what the outcome will be, but you step out.
No.
And that to me is what life is all about. Too many of us are constrained
yes.
by what everybody says we are supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to step out.
Yes.
And take a chance on you and take a chance on that situation. If it doesn't work out.
Yes, it doesn't work out.
If it doesn't work out, then you went after it. And that, I think, is very, very important. And that is what your journey has been. So now there's a subject I want to touch on, which I know in between all of that, there you must have had some times where things didn't go the way you planned.
Yes.
And that you might have had some situations where you had your own personal demons to deal with.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
The first time I ever really thought about it, that was my first time on, like, actually trying to understand my emotions and my feelings. And I remember going to the clinic at UWI and explain to us what I after what I felt, and then of course I was diagnosed with depression and stuff like that. And I think I always kind of knew, but I didn't know. For example,
you didn't acknowledge it.
I didn't acknowledge it at first. I was just always finding something to distract me, and then I was on medication, and then I came off because when I was at UWI, I was more known as a party person. I was a party person. As a matter of fact, they call me Mr. Wacky, the name of Bogle, because I was at every session and on campus. Whenever I touched any session, party mashup. I was that person on campus, and I never really. And then later on, now when I left and I started teaching, smoking, the good stuff,
Yeah, man.
that kind of kept me.
The brain food.
Yeah, that brain food. Whenever that thing was helped with my writing and everything, and it just for some people make their mind. That thing cleared my mind, so I could see everything so clearly.
That's interesting.
Yes, so clearly, and the articulation in a small dose. In a small dose first, and then but then when I went to Japan, I think, and then it came so late because when I just got there, I did feel sad, But sadness isn't necessarily depression. But I know my sadness wasn't just sadness. When I moved from Toyama to a place called Okayama, was when I realized that. Because when I moved, the circumstances surrounding me moving, I chose to, but then I said, boy, maybe I shouldn't have applied for it. But you don't know what's going to happen. And when I remember when I was moving there, and that I was on the train, and in Japan, when you go to Japan, the best way for this is 1 stop, Mr. 2 stop, Mr. 3 stop. Okay, I start to less building, I see no building, some bush, some monkey. And I said, what going weird, and I came off at the end of a line, a place called Tomano. I called Tomato. And then I started drinking. Because I never used to drink until I started drinking because I felt so no from happiness at all. And then I talked to my mother. My mother said she knew, and then I realized that Depression can be hereditary. Mental illness runs in families. It's a trait that runs in many families.
And that's something that we need to acknowledge.
We need to acknowledge.
We do need to acknowledge. I put it on silent. I don't know.
It's not good. It's live TV, guys. It's live. And
it
then,
is on silent.
And then what I do is I started to take medication, but I think my diagnosis wasn't. I think I needed help with my diagnosis. So I was getting something
in denial, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but I no, as in like I went there to the doctor, but I think I didn't explain myself properly. So the medication that I was taking wasn't necessarily working, and also maybe the fact that I was drinking so much, it wasn't working. I drank. I remember one time I looked at a garbage bag of how much I drank in 1 month. Wow, like the thing called True High 9%.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, I go True High nice. You understand? To chill with your friend them and so. But if you drink it, it's True High sweet. But if you drink it all the time, it's bad. And then Japan was when I realized that this is too much. And then eventually that's how I ended up leaving, because I just couldn't do it anymore. There was no way out for me. And then I left, I left, and then I came here, and then when I came here, I started getting the help I needed. My family was there and then I started on a medication plan, and then later on, I episodes that you don't know how long I'm not a doctor, but I tell people, a lot of people who have anxiety with depression, the anxiety comes from not knowing when it's going to come and how long it's going to last.
Wow.
You have a normal day and an episode could just come and just back you.
Wow.
No, if you could predict that this episode will last 10 minutes, you'll feel okay kind of 10 minutes.
Right.
But it just come and go. I say sometimes me have a day I feel like I say, sir, go back. Go back where you come from, Put him left, So that's how that started, and then that's how I got into fitness and dancing.
So fitness has become your kind of therapy, right?
Yes.
And you actually did record some episodes.
Yes. Oh, no,
and so there were some people who didn't like it.
There
were some who appreciated
it. Yes.
And so this is the whole idea that it is a reality of so many of us. In fact, probably most are we walking around and walking.
Of course, something.
Right? But it's understanding what it is and not being in denial about it.
Yes.
Some of us might need medication or other forms of treatment, but the whole idea is get the help.
Yes.
Be open about it. Acknowledge it.
Yes, I agree.
Get the help that you need.
I agree because I when I did so the first time I in 2013 during that time when I was in Okayama, I made a post on my page like, guys, I'm living with depression and whatever, and people like, Raul? That was before I was Raul Blaze, because even before I was an influencer, I was an influencer. Because imagine in a 2011, this Jamaican moved to Japan, like everybody found me on my face, everything I posted about Japan was like, wow, because they've never seen it before.
Yes.
Nowadays you have jet programs so big now, so everybody, Japan, Japan in there, I mean, post last week. Yes. Or somebody said, I seen post that last week, I'm not surprised. I was a person who kind of have that type of following, who showed people say, this is Japan. So, when I was there, what did I talk about again?
All right. But I wanted to ask you something else. But we were talking about mental illness and how, coming to a realization that I have a problem. And I have to find a way to deal with it. If I can't fix it, I have to find a way to deal with it. Which is what you did. Which is what you did. And again, that is something I do admire about you. Because too many of us, just slip and allow ourselves to slip. And we are embarrassed. Our family is embarrassed, and so we never truly address or do anything about what it is that is our issue.
We didn't.
Whether it's mental illness or anything else.
No, we didn't. And now I remember what I was saying. I was doing a 5 story because I'm going to send that story now.
All the time,
yes. So when I posted that in 2013 that, hey, I'm going through this, people were like, you and then like sports people, like celebrities will reach out to me and say, you're brave, look, I don't know how you do that. And then later on, when I became an influencer and started talking about it, like I realized I lost some following when I started, but then I gained some people who were still here with me when that happened. Yeah. And then last year I just wanted to see what it was like, even though you can look at someone and cannot tell. Sometimes when you're going through an episode, you can not show it. Yeah. So I decided that last year, maybe in January, and in the beginning of the year, I always have an episode, and I think I recorded myself, just how I look, and just what you were going through, and I would just do the same things I do, talk on my live. Yeah. But when I was talking on my live, people could see that it's just empty. There's just nothing there. This is not a role that we know, and I think I did 5 days. At the 6 days, I just couldn't go in front of the camera. I think on day 7, I think it lasted just 2 more days after that. And then I showed the videos of me regularly, and I said, wow. And because I've never seen anybody record themselves when they're at their lowest. So, and so we understand that it's okay. Yes. Yes. This is what happens to some of us. Yes. But it's okay, because we have to find a way to get beyond that and to keep going. So that is very, very inspiring, you know? Yes. Before we close out, I'm just curious. Now, you live in America. I live in America. And one of the things we talk about a lot, having come from Jamaica, is our encounters with racial discrimination. Yes. Yes. When you were in Japan, what was it like? Were you like a phenomenon, or it was like, wow. Ew? I know. So Japan, of all the Asian countries, of the big 3, I would say the South Korea, the China, and the Japan. I think Japan has a more pleasant experience. Okay. China, no. That's on this conversation. You know, let's say I would never live in China. Okay. On that basis, I would never live there. Right. Japan's racism it's 2 things. It's one, because no matter how much Japanese are beautiful people, very pleasant. Well, I forget who Japan was in the 1940s. We can't forget that's all Japan, you know, and who they aligned with, right? So that is still that is still there. So you know that is still, but what I like about them is how much they've changed since then. Yes. To come from Deso to here so now, and so the racism that's there is one, because it's the one most on homogeneity. Like all of us look the same, so that person looks different. So so it's a tie between ignorance and racism. Whenever most of the things you get in Japan are uncertainty. What is this? You know, I've had people ask me, if a Chinese and a Japanese person would ask me, is my skin dirty? I would more trust that the Japanese person is asking out of general curiosity. And the Chinese person, even though they may be asking out of curiosity, they may be being rude. They may be being rude. They're just almost rocking you. But most of my experience in Japan was just it's just Raul Sensei. Oh my! It's just like my kids loved me. There was kind of an acceptance. It's like they didn't see. No, they didn't. At one point, at one point in Toyama, I don't even think I was a foreigner anymore. Just Raul Sensei. The kids, and then when I left Toyama, I was predominantly a high school. But when I moved into Osaka, I was these kids running me and playing me. Let's go play. Onigoko, which is hide and seek. What do they call you, Sensei? Raul Sensei. So they call your name then Sensei after in high school. Sensei means master. Yeah, teacher or master. Oh my so like Nakahama, Mr. Nakahama is Nakahama Sensei, Raul Sensei. Oh, wow. They call me by my first name because we introduce ourselves by our first name first. They do their last name first. Oh wow. So for example, Shohei Nakahama would be called Nakahama Shohei. So they call me Raul Sensei, and then when I did, because in Toyama, when it comes to international festivals, I was the one who, in the Jamaican team, I was one with the dances, singing the Bob Marley. So I was on stage. People just loved my energy. When I went to Osaka, whenever I went to any event, and I started dancing. People said, "That's Raul Sensei." And so it was more excitement than the one thing that stands out in my memory in Toyama was I had a school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, out in the middle of nowhere. It was so
country and to get there.
Country. And then when you come off a bus now, you have to walk about a mile to go up the hill. And the teachers, they gave me a chain on my feet. And later on I asked, no one explained it to me. And there I asked one of the teachers say, yes, because it's the ward of the Japanese beer. Yes, so the chingling.
It's a good thing you didn't know at the time. Oh right. My gosh.
And one time I came and I came by the bus stop, and the first time I walked, I saw a lady looking at me like this. Second time I came, I saw a police car, but police don't come at that part in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to me and they were talking to me. I learned Japanese enough that time, and they were saying, asking like questions, and I'm like, I'm Ralph and say from the school up there, and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry because people around here don't know who you were, and they were just asking, which is a genuine curiosity.
Yes.
So the girl before me,
you were
black or white, it was just curiosity.
Curiosity.
The girl I replaced, she was a short white girl. Yeah, white girl. But I can see the difference between it. Somebody try to battle me, go and burn business, no? And I explained to them where I was. And you know what happened afterwards? They after that happened, they say, okay, she can show me your residence card or whatever. And I showed them. And after that, that was it. The next day I came back, every evening I came back, there was some daikon. Daikon is a cross between yam and something else. But there was a farming community. The lady who called the police, they would leave a bag of food for me every Tuesday and Thursday. I dip on the bus like a market.
Real country, you know?
Yes, them leave
real
fruits.
Country people,
I forgive her some of the food because she felt bad for having called the police, but she did
the right thing.
She did, yeah. She was curious.
Yes, she did the right thing because when you see strangers coming into your community, whatever their race or gender, you have to know what they're doing there. So that's okay.
You have to know.
So it wasn't so much racism as just a curiosity.
Yes.
To know who is this person.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, we could go on and on talking, Raul. It's just, I really am impressed with your journey.
Thank you.
I can't even begin to think of walking in your shoes. But what I love is that for others, I mean, you're a TikToker. How did you become an influencer? I mean, did you intend to be an influencer, or you just did your thing and it happened?
I did mine because most people on here, I was at the salon and it was fun. They were at the salon, and even though one person was talking about, oh my God, you know, you dance on this, because my dance videos. Yeah. And the other lady that was talking about saying, you're so funny. So there are people who know me as a person who's funny and as a dancer. So but I started as someone who was just very culturally funny. Yes. A very funny person on a cultural basis.
Right. I've seen some of your YouTube videos.
Yes.
Very funny.
Yes.
And so it was more relating to us as Jamaicans.
Yes.
But now you've broadened your horizons.
Yes, it's more Caribbean. It's Caribbean now, and I'm next step. I'm trying to make it more,
universal. Yes.
And use my languages because I have them. I need to use the languages.
And that is amazing. So we limit ourselves too much.
Yes.
Is what I'm getting. We need to explore some more. All the different parts, and whether or not you're Christian, we talk about the talents that we're given.
Yes.
And I see the talents as really just that.
Yes.
Each of us is given, those talents. What do we do with that?
Yes, we should.
And so just go ahead and explore, which is what you did. And it has given you an amazing journey.
Yes.
And what I think it is too is, for younger, I wouldn't say young people, younger people coming up, the idea is life is a journey. And sometimes, yes, it's good to have blinders on.
Yes.
But don't put yourself in one pigeonhole.
No.
As it were. You have to explore your talents.
Yes.
Which is what you've done.
Yes.
And you have created this amazing young man who, so many people are following, and you're not stopping, right?
No. I just began.
You're just beginning. You're just beginning, and I love it. So I just want to say, I appreciate your journey. And just keep going on. Just keep doing your thing, because there's so many people who are following in your footsteps.
Yes.
And we're not expecting perfection, but we're expecting the understanding that it is possible.
Yes.
Don't say, I come from Chigwell, and Chigwell is just a good place where water is.
Yes.
But that's it. No. you are beyond.
Yes, swim across the water, Francis.
Swim across the water, hop on the bottle.
Yes.
And sail out to whatever it is you need to become. And you never know who or what you are meant to become unless you explore.
Yes.
And there's so much more to you. You write.
Yes.
You paint too?
Yeah, I don't write. I don't paint.
No. House?
You paint house. Yes. Write, me direct. Yes.
Yes. So you write plays.
Yes, I write plays, next I should have brought it here, but it's not. And I hope this is a great partnership because it can help me with that. My book, which is called Fimi Patois. It was 2 of the poems were chosen to be part of Louise Bennett's. The Honorable Louise Bennett cover is 100 year celebration. 2 of them, Miss Joyce Mongrel Dog was chosen to be a part of the collection.
Wow, I love it. So we can talk about that because it is what we do at the Writery. Yes. You know, we actually help writers get their works published, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I want to keep talking, but we're both busy people, and so I know you have stuff to do, and you're also part of the Jollof and
Jollof Jerk and Jambalaya, which is here. Look out for that. It's the second Thursdays. The big one is coming in June, and the aim is to kind of to link the diaspora with aims of going to the motherland one day and see what's there.
And so it is in Hartford.
Yes, it's in Hartford.
But you're looking, along with Janet Dunkley, to expand it.
To give more people in Hartford coming up. The food is wonderful. I'm going over to Miss Janet for some wonderful jerk chicken. Nice jerk chicken. Yes, we have enough jerk chicken. We have jerk chicken. Just to get more people involved in not only knowing where you're from, but to understand the connections that bond us today where we are.
Right. Exploring beyond just rice and peas and jerk chicken.
Yes. But food is the way to the art and to the connection.
I love it. Raul, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Stopping by here on Optimal Gold Radio today. Yes. And of course, Optimal Gold Radio is a 24-hour station. It's internet-based, so you can always tune in. There's something always going on. And I really do appreciate your followers tuning in today, and of course Optimal Gold Radio listeners, thank you so much for joining, and we're going to talk some more.
Thank you so much. I hope to come back very soon.
Yes,
thank you so
much. And so this evening you are on
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Studio 860 in Bloomfield on the outskirts of Hartford. It's a Raul Blaze dancehall soca Afrobeat dance class. So come through. Tickets are now $35. If you want to come and give me a tip on top of that, can tip same way, accept it. If you cannot come and if you cannot come, you can still back ticket or make a contribution. Sponsor somebody, man. Thanks for all the gifts my gift. Thanks for the gifts that are coming through from my wonderful family. That's my TikTok family right there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today on Optimal Gold Radio. This is our special, and of course, we're also on Facebook and on TikTok.
Yes.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Optimal Gold Radio, guys. Okay, I'm going to tell you about it. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, thanks for having me.